gosh, I just love that little intro so much.
Always makes me smile. I know.
I know, me too. And I love like watching us. And I think, oh, Diana looks so pretty. And Sharon looks like she just had a blowout. And then there I am with this little teeny tiny top knot up here. And I'm like, God, that looks awful.
And we're live. I'm just
checking. Are you okay? Because I was checking too. I was like, now I'm paranoid about.
Yeah. So I know we had technical difficulties last week, but today hopefully we are live. So welcome to the Isn't It Romantic Book Club, everyone. We are going to be discussing Jennie Marts' Every Bit of Cowboy tonight. Gosh, just another amazing Jennie book.
I know.
But before we get started, before that even, let me just say, hey, welcome everybody from the Isn't Romantic Book Club who's watching. We've got Jennie's Page Turners. We've got Sharon Wray's group. We've got Jennie Marts Books here. We've got My Dangerously Dark Darlings. We've got Team Source Books, and we're on YouTube. So welcome everybody. Let us know like where you're watching from if you're here. Also, I see Nicole Cook just said hello. Hello, Nicole. Give us a shout out. Let us know what group you're watching from just so we can actually make sure that they are all working today the way they should be. So anyway, before we get started, this is the first thing I want to get into. Guys, we have a summer book club coming. Yay. And it started today. Summer book club means, remember like when you were growing up and if you read so many books, you got like a pizza or something like that. We're kind of like creating this nostalgia of the summer book club. So all you have to do, we have a reading list and you just read books and you could win prizes. We give you the list. The list is in the group. It's on a pinned post. And I think Diana's posting in there. Yes, just find the books, read them, and post a review, and then go to the form, and your link to the review is your entry into the giveaways. We have such fun things we're giving away. We've got paperbacks and gift cards and tumblers and mugs and totes and just all sorts of things. So it's definitely something you don't want to miss.
It's really fun.
Yeah, I think it really is. And by the way, we already have 37 entries. So we need to better get them in there,
Yeah.
It's early.
So, I think we have over 100 prizes, don't we? Like we have
a lot of prizes. Yeah. So definitely make sure that you get your entries in. Yeah. All right, guys. So I'm Abbie Roads. I write dark romantic thrillers. I tell people think an episode of Criminal Minds meets a love story with a little paranormal twist. This is my little stack of books. This is Dangerous Dreams. It's out now. And then there's Broken Dreams. It's out now. And Shattered Dreams is coming in July 11th, I think. So it is on its way. And one little last thing, Capturing Fate. If you want this cover, this is the final month that you're going to be able to get this particular cover of this book before it changes to a different cover. So if you like this cover, grab it now before it's gone.
It's a beautiful cover.
Are you sharing the cover yet, or is that to be revealed?
What?
Are you sharing the new cover yet, or is that to be revealed?
It's to be revealed. To be revealed.
Same cover artist?
What?
Same cover artist who did your last.
It's different. Different. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. It looks good.
So that's exciting. Hi, everyone. I'm Diana Muñoz Stewart. I write romantic suspense for the strong of heart. My books, Hidden Justice and Broken Promises, are out now, and they're part of the book club. So if you've read and you've reviewed, you can already put an entry in for prizes for the summer book club. And my next book, novella, Fighting Fate, is out on June 20th. You see that? Okay.
Gorgeous cover.
I
love that color.
My favorite. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sharon Wray. I'm the third member of the group, and I write romantic suspense as well. My most current book is Love's Last Kiss. It's the fourth book in the Deadly Force series, which includes these three, which you guys all have seen. The fifth book is currently being written, and hopefully I'll have a cover soon. It's called The Promise of Midnight. In the meantime, Jennie and I are in, I don't have the paperback, Jennie. Do you have it? Wedding Tales Anthology. Yay. It's weddings and a dog that come and stories that come from your favorite source books, some of your favorite source book series. And my first MC romance comes out. I should have a book next week. I can't wait.
Oh, I can't wait for that one.
This is on the summer reading list.
That's really cool.
All of these are on the summer reading list. So lots of fun things. So tonight, I always love it when we interview our own, and especially Jennie, because Jennie and I have been friends. Actually, I've been friends with all of you for so long. I can't say that. Anyway, I am not supposed to have favorites. Jennie Marts, USA Today bestselling author of award-winning books filled with love, laughter, and always a happily ever after. Readers call her books laugh out loud funny and the perfect mix of romance, humor, and steam. Fic Central claimed one of her books was the most fun I've had reading in years, which I totally agree with. She's living her own happily ever after in the mountains of Colorado with her husband, 2 dogs, and a parakeet who loves to tweet to the oldies. She's addicted to Diet Coke, adores Cheetos, believes you can't have too many books, choose her friends. Her books range from Western romance to cozy mysteries, but they all have the charm and appeal of quirky small-town life. She loves genre mashups like adding romance to her page Turner's cozy mysteries and creating her hockey-playing Cowboys and the Cowboys of Credence. What was that? The same small-town community with more animal antics in her latest Credence. Wait, no, we're not there yet.
Oh, not that one. Oh, sorry.
In her latest Credence Horse Rescue series, and her sassy heroines and hunky heroes carry over into her heartwarming, feel-good romances from Hallmark. That's the other one.
There we go, Hallmark.
And her newest cozy mystery, pick it up. Take the Honey and Run, a beekeeping mystery debuts in July, which I absolutely can't wait to read that.
Oh no, I'm dying to read that one too.
Love that one. So,
I'm dying for everyone to read it.
So Jennie, why don't we just start out? Why don't you? We kind of lost our mojo last week with the live stream. We did almost the entire hour and only to discover that it hadn't recorded into the but it recorded on my author page for some reason. Anyway, so why don't we start over, and Jennie, tell us what this book is about.
Okay, well, hi everybody. I'm happy to be here. So it's funny that we talked about my 2 dogs and my parakeet that likes to tweet to the oldies, because you can see my dog's tail every once in a while will show up next to me because he's standing in the room with me. So every once in a while you'll see a golden retriever tail just move into the background. So I do have a couple of dogs, a golden retriever and a Sheltie, and dogs end up in all of my books. So every single one of my books has a dog in it. And my dog's name is Cooper. And there's all sorts of, like, one book I have has Coopersville, the town. Like, different people have had a last name Cooper. Like, I just love Cooper, using Cooper all the time and everything. So that silly dog.
Cooper's on your cover, right?
And he's on and he's on this cover too.
Yeah.
So,
there's Cooper.
and there's the tail. Hi. So, he would love to say hi to everyone here. Actually,
Kind of is. It's like his tail is waving. You know?
Aw, such a cutie.
Aw.
Hi, Coop. In my lap too. Anyway, so that's why I love putting dogs. And in the horse rescue series, they rescue everything besides horses. So they're always rescuing dogs and goats and a tortoise in one and lovebirds. And so anyway, in this book, Every Bit of Cowboy, which let's just talk about how great Source Books did with this cover. I mean,
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
we all want to meet this guy in
That
person.
little like man chest, like is just perfection.
It is. And I love that they
That's
put the mountains in the background, and they have like the ranch in the background. Oops, the ranch in the background, and they just did amazing. I love the color, so I'm really happy with this one. So
You're talking about the ranch and the background. I'm talking about Manchester.
They did a good job with that too. And those like steely eyes too. I mean, come on, he is just
Yeah.
So anyway, this book is the fifth book in the Credence Horse Rescue series. So in the beginning of this series, we met Bryn and Zane, and they basically started the horse rescue series. And then we met Brody the veterinarian and Elle, the 2 sweet, lovely widow and widower that fall in love. And How to Cowboy, you meet Bryn's cousin, Cade Callahan. And then you meet this, in Never Enough Cowboy, we met Ethan, and Ethan fell in love with the librarian, Jillian. And he is a deputy that ran for sheriff in Never Enough Cowboy. And he was dating this woman who had like a perilous background or a suspicious background. So she didn't want to date him because he was a sheriff and she knew her background could mess up his life and her life. So when you're reading Never Enough Cowboy, you meet Carly, the sister of the librarian, and Knox Garrison, and he is one of Ethan's deputies. So that's how these two came up. So this book is a fake fiance, kind of opposites attract kind of book as well. So the romance is the last thing on Carly Chapman's mind. She's a hairdresser. She's just focused on her business. Her ex-husband totally jacked up her self-esteem because he was such a jerk to her. But it's hard to ignore this cute sheriff, Knox Garrison. They flirted a little bit in the last book. He comes in and flirts with her in this book. And then when she's forced to temporarily move her business out to the rescue hero, the rescue horse ranch, he, of course, comes to the rescue as well and helps her move it out. And Knox is a guy that the way he grew up, he had an abusive stepfather. And so he is always trying to fix things. He would try to fix things for his sister and his mom and is always trying to make everything right. So for him, he's just always, I can fix that. I can fix that. I can take care of this. Well, he accidentally fixes, when Carly's ex comes back to town, he accidentally fixes the problem by telling Paul, the douche canoe, who is her ex-husband, they are engaged. And he didn't mean for that rumor to get all over town. But then, of course, they have to stick with that. So I really love this book. It's one of my favorite stories, and I love so much of this. And I see Natalie posted that she laughed so hard in the scene with the animals in bed with them. So thanks, Natalie. I'm glad I made you laugh. So there you go. Whew, that was a long explanation.
And I love that trope of the fake relationship.
I do too.
And I love that he just sort of like accidentally like just tumbled out of his mouth, and like, oh no, like, and now everybody knows. And like, I loved that.
It was totally unexpected. Like that was like kind of like the last thing I expected for him to say. Like I usually you hear that from the female side.
Yes, you do.
Really? Yes. I've never read it from the male until this book. Mm-hmm. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it because I loved it. Yeah. Because he knew what he wanted. Like from the moment you met him on the page, you knew what he wanted and he was going to get it eventually. Right.
Mm-hmm. And you know what I thought was really super cute? Like you were talking about him fixing things, where at the very beginning of the book, her little box at work got broken. And he took it and fixed it, and then and at the end gives it back to her. And I was like, my heart.
That was really sweet. Yeah, because by then you'd forgotten about the box.
Yes. And I was like,
and it comes back. You're just, oh, yeah, that's so cute.
Yeah. And I think last time I said it, and I'll say it again, even though nobody heard it last time, but I loved Paul. Like I loved having a sort of bad guy in here, It just
like you loved Paul, or you would love to hate Paul?
I love to hate Paul. I don't think Paul's a good guy, but I just love a bad guy,
And Jenny, you had another really great bad cowboy. Oh my gosh, whose book was
another book, you mean? Oh yeah. Bryn.
Yes.
Book, and he stole all the money, and
yes, and he was on the Cowboy the
rodeo circuit.
Yeah, so Paul reminded me in conflict, like the same kind of wonderful conflict you get from that.
Yeah.
Well, and I had to kind of walk a tightrope because Paul is Evelyn's grandson, and so with the divorce, all that Carly inherits is her beauty salon and this kind of grandmotherly figure in Evelyn. But Evelyn loves her grandson, but she also knows that he's kind of a
ne'er-do-well.
a ne'er-do-well.
Sharon with the big words.
And he is not good for Carly. And so I really had to walk a fine line with that to make sure that that was really okay. So it seemed realistic that this grandma, she doesn't really talk bad about her grandson, but yet she knows that he's not the guy for Carly.
You did it perfectly.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
And I do agree with Natalie. I absolutely loved the scene of all the animals in the bed when her sister.
How do you come up with these animals? Do you like research, like, okay, pygmy goats?
You're from a family of vets, right?
I am. Yeah. My dad is a veterinarian. I grew up on a little farm in Kansas. And if anyone lives in Kansas, I will tell you that I am going to be at a library event in Hays, Kansas at the end of the month. So check back with me if you live in Kansas and anywhere near Hays, I will be making an appearance in Kansas later this month. But anyway, my dad is a veterinarian, my brother-in-law, my sister, all veterinarians. So I have a lot of good resources for when I need something. But I think that I saw that. You remember that video of the little pygmy goats in the pajamas?
Yes.
Around that was so popular for a while. I was like, I need 8 pygmy goats. I have got to just have some little baby goats in one of these somewhere.
And that's a great idea.
Goat yoga. So goat yoga with 8 pygmy goats does happen.
The goat yoga, I've heard about it online and stuff, but it sounds kind of appealing until Jenny gets in the particulars of goats pooping and peeing on you. I don't want any part of that goat yoga.
I want no part of that, because the moment I ever first heard about it, that was my first concern, was that I just don't need to be.
And it's a real thing that happens. I don't think they pee on you very much, but I think they do poop quite a bit.
And their diapers, do they?
I don't think so. I think it's just a hazard of you're supposed to wear not great clothes, and they really do sprinkle goat treats on your back and hoping that the goats, and you really are supposed to keep your hair back so that the goats don't gnaw on your hair. And
it's funny, you guys are worried about goat poop, and I'm like, oh my God, goat poop would not phase. I grew up on a farm, so goat poop would not phase me at all.
On your back?
On your back?
I have clothes on. It's not like I'd be doing naked yoga with goats.
Well, my husband also runs a county fair, or a portion of the county fair. He's a parks guy, and he runs a portion of the county fair. And last summer, I ran into there's the goat barn, and I ran into this young girl, and she spent I wish I would have gotten her name, because she spent an hour just teaching me about goats and what they do. And they were her 4-H project. And I got a lot of fun ideas for my goat characters from that little gal.
That is so sweet.
That's a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in this book, we met a very sexy, handsome man towards the end of the book who got out of a trap. Is he going to show up in another book?
Oh, by any chance, are you talking about Holt Callahan?
Might be.
And also Cade's brother. Yeah. So Holt Callahan does end up coming back to the farm. Bryn goes after him, and his horse dies. Oh. And he gets stood up at Christmas with a ring in his pocket. And so he hates Christmas. So the new book that's coming out in October, if you're waiting to get Holt's story, the new book comes out in October, and it's a second chance romance, and he hates Christmas. And yet the girl that the love of his life, that he disappeared on him 10 years before, shows up at the farm next door wearing an elf costume and running a Christmas festival. Needs his help. So, and I just happen to have the cover of that book.
Oh, cool.
If anyone would like to see that, I should have had that pulled up ahead of time, but just on the off chance that someone might.
You called it a Grinch Sunshine book, right?
Yes. So, they always talk about grumpy sunshine books. This one is a Grinchy sunshine book.
That's so cute sounding.
Because he is a big fat Grinch.
He has a great name.
But he's a sexy Grinch. And there is a point in there about, the Grinch's heart grows 2 sizes. Well, Holt tells her something else on his Grinchy self. 2 sizes.
Hysterical.
Yeah, there's a point where he tells her, let's go off and have a not so silent night.
Oh,
So this is the cover for
Great
oh
cover.
yeah. Oh, I love that cover.
It's beautiful.
That is
Look at
adorable.
that guy.
So how do you come up with the names for your characters?
A lot of times I just Google like cowboy
names.
Actually, I'll tell you a tiny little secret too. And thanks, Barbara, who mentioned that she loved the cover. One time I was, or actually I've done this a couple different times. When I go to a rodeo, I've been to a rodeo in Kansas. I was at a bull riding contest at the county fair, and I took the program. And then I take names off of the program of the bull riders. And I like last names and first names. And so if I see like a great bull rider name or a great name of a bull or a bronc or something, I'll steal it right off that program. And I'll just buy it.
So authentic cowboy names.
Yeah. Or I'll look up like we have the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame here, and I'll look up like actual rodeo riders and then link them together, like link names together.
Now we know your secret. And who and Adam, all your cowboy books, who is your favorite hero or heroine?
Oh, gall.
Sorry.
Never Enough Cowboy is really one of my favorite books. Just because I just think that Jillian showing up wearing those superhero underwear, those mock superhero underwear.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Those were adorable.
So much fun with each other. Their banter was so strong.
And that was the one with the reading nook, right? The house with the reading nook?
Yes, that was the house with the reading nook. And actually, because it's June 1st, I can share this right now that both Never Enough Cowboy, speaking of loving this book, and Cowboy Ever After were double finalists in the national, in the NERFA, the National Excellence in Romantic Fiction.
Oh, wow. Congratulations, Jenny.
Jenny.
Yeah.
They're just announcing it today. June 1st is when they're supposed to announce it. So hopefully
cool.
I didn't jump the gun. But anyway, they're double finalists. So this one finaled in mainstream romance with romantic elements, and this one in long contemporary romance.
Wow.
So
congratulations.
That one of them is a winner, or both of them is a winner.
Great. That's wonderful.
When do you find out?
Mid-July.
Okay. All right. Let us know.
That's wonderful. Oh, congratulations. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. I'm happy too.
So what are you writing right now? Can you share anything?
So right now I can share that. I'm happy to share that. I am working on a new book called Kill or Be Killed. And the B is B-E-E, like kill or be. And it is the second book in the Take the Honey and Run series. So this book comes out July 18th. Finally. And this will be my first hardback. So my 31st book will be my first hardback book.
Wow.
So, and it only comes out in hardback. So this just happens to be an advanced reader copy. So it won't come out in paperback until much later, hopefully.
Oh, wow, that's neat.
So, yeah, it'll be my first hardback book, and you'll be able to find it at the libraries and Barnes and Noble. And but the second book, so this story is about a mystery writer, like I know anything about that, who is a single mom. I don't know about that. I guess my mom was a single mom. And she comes home to her hometown of Humble Hills, Colorado, and she comes back to Honeybuzz Mountain Ranch. So if you know anything about cozies, they're just full of puns. And so I had a great time with the bee puns in this book. And the mayor is killed, and the murder weapon is Granny Bee. That's the grandma's name. It's Granny Bee's Honey I'm Home, Hot Spiced Honey is the murder weapon. And so Granny is the murder suspect, and Bailey Briggs, the heroine, has to get her grandma out of this sticky situation, and so before her grandma ends up behind bars. So anyway, I'm working on the second story, and I'm having a really good time with it. The Bee Festival is in town, and celebrity comes in to host the Bee Festival and ends up being murdered. So, and Evie, which is Bailey's best friend, is the main suspect. And I do have the cover of this book, and this cover isn't out yet. So you guys will be the only ones that get to see it. I don't know if I'm really supposed to share it or not, but anyway, I will share it with you guys. This is the
love it.
It's gorgeous.
And it's so
really
fun.
cute.
And if you see the little dog, no, wrong side. The little dog is looking in the window. Cooper's looking in the window. Whoa, what happened?
Yeah.
And what's really fun about and the it has the little notice for the bee festival right in the window, which is really fun.
I love it.
And
That's
it's got
adorable,
the
Jenny.
dead guy's legs sticking out right there.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Oh, it's
Cupboard
so
is,
funny.
partially open. That little cupboard is partially open. So that apparently is the element of mystery that they like purposely put on there so that readers will be like, why is that cupboard open?
Oh,
Wow, very clever.
very clever.
And
Now, did you have any say in the design of that cover?
I'm so glad you asked, because what's really cool and different about writing these cozy mysteries and working with Crooked Lane is I sent them a thing and said, here's what I would love. And I said, I would love a cafe. I would love the dog looking in the window. I want the dog to be my golden retriever. I want bee stuff. I want it to be pink. I want it to be teal. And then they draw it.
That's incredible.
Which I've never had
happened
before.
None of us
And
have.
like in Take the Honey and Run, they originally sent me this drawing, and the little house in the back was like a cabin, and it was a low cabin. And I messaged them and said, I love the dog. I love the bee boxes. But the house is like a rambling farmhouse, like a big 2-story huge farmhouse. And then I sent them a picture of like from Pinterest that would look kind of like this. And basically they drew the picture that I sent them.
Oh, wow.
They drew the house that was exactly like the picture that I sent them and stuck it back on there. So that has been an amazingly cool, really fun experience. And they did their own stuff too. Like this is honeycomb behind here and there's little bees all over. But I did say I wanted the golden retriever on the front and I wanted him playing with the bee. And I don't know if you can see, but there's a bee buzzing right by his nose.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's really cute.
Where's the dead? Is there a dead body behind him?
Yeah, the dead.
Oh, there's the body
right there. Yeah.
Jenny, were they your titles?
Take the Honey and Run was my title. Actually, Killer Bee Killed was my title too. But what I wanted the title to be was Just Can't Help Pollen in Love.
I just love that.
And I wanted it so bad, but it doesn't really have anything to do with murder. So I guess I could say Can't Help Pollen in Murder. I don't know. Doesn't have the same ring to it. So so we had to change that title, and we may use it for something else, but I've got some other titles for the next few books in the series.
So have you done a lot of bee research?
So I have done some bee research, but also my husband is a certified beekeeper, and he has had so he ran a nature center for years, and they had a live beehive. And so he has taught us things about bees for years and years, and he loves bees, and bees are actually quite fascinating creatures. Yeah. And I'm actually working on the murder in the new book right now. And I'm having Granny Bee do a program about killer bees and about the queen. And I'm going to try to kind of put some little things like correlations to the actual murder to how bees actually react.
That's great.
So
that's fun.
Yeah.
And besides all that, you have an anthology out right now with a story that's leading into another series you're starting.
Well, I do. I do. So in this Wedding Tales book, we had a lot of fun with this. Sharon and I did this anthology earlier this year. And what was neat about Wedding Tales is that it was source books authors who already had a dog in their book. And then it's like 7 of us that all had a dog in their book. And we did a wedding from one of our source book series. So I don't have the book sitting here, but When a Cowboy Loves a Woman was the widow and the widower story with Brody and Elle. And in this book is their wedding. And of course, Seamus, the horse, shows up and eats some of the wedding cake when they're not looking. Natalie asked, where can I find the Wedding Tales book? The paperback is on Amazon. And so is the ebook too. So
I'll get the link and put it in the group.
Oh, good. Okay. So as part of this story, as part of the wedding, you meet Brody's cousin, who is named Elizabeth, and you meet Ford Lassiter. And Ford Lassiter and his brothers run Lassiter Ranch, and Lassiter Ranch is named the brothers are named Ford, Chevy, and Dodge, and the mom named them after the truck that the father drove away from them in. So 3 brothers forged together through abandonment and, bond together to save the ranch of their grandparents, the only people that ever, took them in, loved them, whatever. So something like that. So this little novella that's in here is kind of like the prequel story to Love at First Cowboy, which is available on pre-order right now. So I do have another cowboy book coming out September 1st, and it's called Love at First Cowboy, and it's like the story, the first story in the Lassiter Ranch of the Ford, Chevy, and Dodge brothers.
I do not know how you keep all these stories straight.
I just posted the paperback link in the group.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. So yeah, it's called Love at First Cowboy. I'm working on the having the cover reveal come up. I'm kind of trying to get through the new the release of Take the Honey and Run, and then I'll focus on the cover reveal and all that of Love at First Cowboy. But it's shaping up to be a really fun book and a really fun story. And
well, I loved the prequel. I mean, it was just charming and it's the first book in the first story in the anthology.
Oh yeah, that's right. It is, and it's Ford goes and he gets set up with the bridesmaid and falls for the wrong bridesmaid. So it's kind of a cute.
It's really, really cute.
Kind of a cute, but also a little bit steamy because, even though I do write some Hallmark books, my cowboy books have a little bit of steam in them, like that dryer scene. Steam from the dryer.
Now, do you prefer steam?
The steam dryer? Is that what you're asking?
Where did you get to that idea?
You know what? We have an old dryer. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. It's funny. I was listening to the audiobook and I was driving home from a writer's conference and I was listening to it and I'm like, did she just? And I said it out loud to my empty car. Did she just? And then right then he says, did you just? I was like,
yes,
she did.
Yeah.
She did.
This one was a little sexier than some of the other books, I think.
I thought so too.
I think maybe it was the tension.
Oh, good.
Or maybe that dryer scene. I don't know.
The dryer scene, yeah. Because the animals kind of, were just adorable, but I don't know.
And Rodney. We have to mention Rodney.
So Rodney, we're not going to tell you who Rodney is, except for that he's Knox's pet, and he's not who you expect him to be.
No. Oh my God. And I just want to say, what was it? How he said it, step back from the coon or something. Don't take another step. Step away from the coon. And I'm
away from Rodney.
Yeah,
away.
That was hilarious.
Hilarious.
Guys, you gotta read it. And just a quick reminder, if you have read it, you are eligible to enter our summer book club. So you just have to leave a review and then you have an entry. So
in the anthologies, some of the anthologies are on the summer book club list, like Wedding Tales, but you're only required to read the stories written by me and Jenny. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's true. And we should talk about reviews for a second too, because authors just love reviews. I always love that thing that says how to feed an author. Write a review, and a review does not have to be long. It does not have to be complicated. It just, even if it's 3 sentences that say, I love this book because, the pygmy goats were adorable, or, whatever it is. If you just say, I loved the suspense in this, I highly recommend, or, hopefully you do. Hopefully that's why you're writing the review. But basically, you don't have to go through and recap the whole thing or be intimidated by writing reviews. We love it, even if you just post, I loved it, and this is 2 reasons why.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
go ahead, Abbie.
Well, and I don't think a lot of people realize that Amazon won't put our books into the algorithm until they have at least 50 reviews. So that's why it's so important to leave a review, especially when a book first comes out. We've got to get that to that 50 mark just for Amazon to even like really start to begin to show it to people.
And contracts have been pulled on authors because they don't have enough reviews.
Yeah.
And I'll be perfectly honest, reviews on other sites are nice, but they don't count. Publishers don't care. When we write for both, we do indie work and traditional publisher work. They don't care. So it's lovely when people say, oh, I left it on Barnes & Noble or Goodreads. That's wonderful. But it doesn't actually help us other than the validation.
Like it does on Amazon, you mean?
It has to be on Amazon for the publisher.
Well, it's funny. Did you see that Amazon now has the Goodreads review in the?
Yeah, I saw that.
So it says like Amazon review, Goodreads review right
They bought
underneath it.
Oh, neat. Well, I will give you fair warning. If you review every bit of Cowboy, do not use the word douche canoe in your review, because one of my readers did that and she got all of her reviews pulled. So do not use the word douche canoe.
That's too bad.
In any of your reviews. So she got them back, thank goodness, and thank you. I love you, and I'm so glad that you worked so hard and you gave me the review. But don't use that.
Yeah, and I don't think readers understand just how appreciative we are of those reviews too. Like, because I know it took you time to read the book, then sit down and figure out what you're going to write for the review, and then go to Amazon and post the review. Like, I totally know how much time that takes. So I am and I know we all are so appreciative of the time it takes for you to invest in that and leave a review for us. That's part of why we're doing the summer book club, so we can give back to those people who are leaving reviews.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And I think, sometimes, because it's funny, because we run this group, we run this book club, but sometimes people don't know that we write books. So they just, they see us in there, running the group and having fun. And I thought, well, this is a great way to, get to know the people who are running the group, and we can get to know you better. So, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting to know us better, if you guys have any questions for me, put them in the chat. I'm happy to answer questions from you all about the book, about the writing process, about my dog Cooper. I'll tell you anything you want to know about him.
Jenny, how many more books are coming out in the Credence Horse Rescue series?
Only one more.
The Christmas book is the last one?
Christmas book is the 10th and final one, yeah.
Oh my goodness, I thought there was one more coming out of that. Oh, that makes sense.
Nope. 10th and final one. So I really tried to do it justice and really close it up. I mean, okay, I shouldn't say never say never.
I loved it. So
yeah, that's as far as I know for right now. With source books, that's the end. But who knows? Maybe someday something more will happen. Oh, hi, Rhonda.
Right.
And this book, you had a lovely, I don't want to say lovely, but a really powerful rescue of a horse too. I really liked that in this book.
Thank you. It sometimes hurts me to do these horse rescues and talk about how the terror abandoning the horses, and but it's a real thing. It's a real thing in the world, in the United States, that you would not believe how many horse rescues there are and how many people can't afford to keep their horse anymore and they just abandon it. And so it's a real thing and it's heartbreaking. And so I try to put that in my book with also a modicum of hope and, that at least this one horse or these few horses that are in this story are getting rescued and finding a forever home.
Mm-hmm. And your books always have so much lightness and hope in them too. So that's what I love about them. Yeah. Oh, laughter for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. So can I ask you, what inspired you to first start writing?
So I have always wanted to write a book. And when I turned 40 years old, my husband was just going back to get his master's, and I did that that life, look back at your life. What have I always wanted to do? What am I not doing? Mm-hmm, my kids getting ready to graduate high school and leave, and who am I, all that stuff. And I always wanted to be a writer, and I always wanted to write a book. And I just sort of was like, what are you waiting for? You're 40 years old. You better get on it. If you're going to follow this dream, do it. And I love Nora Roberts. I loved stories about dogs. I love women's fiction. I love stories about women's friendships and bolstering each other up. My grandmas were sassy, spunky, fun women who were really close to me in my life. So I knew I wanted to write, like, have some sassy old ladies in my books, which almost all of them do have a sassy, spunky old lady in them. And so I decided to write Another Saturday Night, and I Ain't Got No Body. And this book is a story about an ordinary school teacher whose book club sets her up on 6 blind dates, and one of them might be with a murderer. And
love it.
I made every mistake in this book possible when I first started writing it, because I love Nora Roberts, which, for those of you that don't know how this works, new writers have to follow all of the rules. When you get to be Nora Roberts, you can break whatever rule you want. And one of the main rules is you stay in one point of view, like for an entire scene. And you can only be in one person's point of view at a time. Well, Nora Roberts can head hop and be in whoever's point of view she wants. And so that's what I did with this book. And I wrote all the scenes of my main character in first person and all the scenes of the other people in third person.
Did you really?
I did. That is how I did it. I wrote the scene from the villain in his first person, I think, too, from the killer in the book. And I just didn't know what I didn't know. And then, you know, I spent 2 years or whatever going to writers' conferences, and there was a Romance Writers of America chapter in my town, and learning the craft of writing and learning all the things that I did wrong in this book. And I rewrote it like twice to make it the jewel that it is to me. So
I know.
That's
now
awesome.
I want to go back and read it. It sounds amazing.
Yeah. Well, and so this book, since this book, I have written 32 more books since then.
Wow.
So 15 years, which apparently, if anyone can do math, yes, I did turn into a senior citizen this year at 55 and have 30 published books. This one came out in 2012.
Wow. And who published that? Oh, you did. Oh, okay.
But you guys, like,
you got to believe in yourself.
Yeah. If you read all of Jennie's books, that's 30 entries into our book club giveaway.
That's true. So I'll tell you, in 2012, I had a girlfriend who I also spent 26 years working for Wells Fargo Bank. And I had a girlfriend who was self-published a book, and I was her banker. And so I was cashing these big giant checks from Amazon for her self-publishing journey. And she was like, you got to do it. You got to do it. Just try it. And I thought, what the heck? And so I put this book up, and I asked my husband when, you know, because you have to, if you indie publish a book, you have to pay for the cover, you have to pay for editing, like you put some money into publishing a book. And so I asked him, what will you consider success? You know, we put a little money into this. I put this book out. What do you consider like success for this book? And his reply was, if 10 people that we do not know, that are not related to us, buy this book, I will consider this book a success. And this little pink book has been downloaded well over 100,000 times in 12 different countries, and has, I don't know, the whole series. There's 7 books in the series, and I think there's well over 1,000 reviews on this book. So,
that's awesome.
That is like astounding.
Yeah, it's a special series to me. And every time I read this, the series has a different woman in the book club. Each book is a different woman in the book club, her romance and her mystery, something that happens to her. So every time I go back and write one of these, it's kind of like visiting old friends and going back to like my hometown and getting back to all people. So
do you have plans to write any more?
Yeah, there's 2 more in the series. So it's all the days of the week. So there's Another Saturday Night, and I Ain't Got No Body, Easy Like Sunday Morning, just another Maniac Monday, Tangled Up in Tuesday, What to Do About Wednesday. So I've got Thursday and Friday to still write.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Jennie, who's an like auto buy author for you? Like, who do you like to read? Like, who's your just one click? I don't even know what it's about, but I'm going to read it.
Janet Ivanovich.
Oh
my
yeah.
God,
I love Janet Ivanovich. She is the one that encouraged, not her personally, but on her website, she encouraged me to go join Romance Writers of America. I did see her in person before I became a writer. So Janet Ivanovich, I love the Stephanie Plum series. I buy that like every year. I buy that no matter what. Susan Elizabeth Phillips, I love her. When I met her, I tried to tell her how much she inspired me, and I just started bawling. Like I couldn't even control myself. Like I couldn't even talk. I was crying so hard trying to tell her how much she inspired me. I love her. Oh, and Frederick Bachman. Man, I love Frederick Bachman's books. So A Man Called Ove. Britt Marie Was Here. I loved that book. My grandmother said to tell you she is sorry. I love that book. So there you go. And Nora Roberts, of course.
What other genres do you read? Do you read like paranormal or science fiction or things like that?
I mainly read women's fiction and thrillers and mysteries. Like I like domestic. What are they called? Domestic
thrillers.
Domestic thrillers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I read a lot of thrillers. And
do you read the book or do you do the audiobook?
Both. I've always got an audiobook going. My favorite audiobook this year is not a thriller. It was The Switch by Beth Leary. I just read an amazing book, Remarkably Bright Creatures, that oddly enough has the POV of an octopus in it.
Yeah, you were telling me.
And it's a woman, an older woman who works nights at an aquarium, and she befriends an octopus. And it sounds really crazy, but it was just a lovely, wonderful, like feel-good story that I couldn't wait to get back to. So
I want to check it out. That is so bizarre.
Yeah. It's called Remarkably Bright.
I would have chosen it just from the book description.
Yeah, it sounds strange, but it was just I literally, if I put it down, I just couldn't wait to get back to that story. So
is there a character? Go ahead, Sharon. Go ahead, Sharon.
No, I was just going to ask if you read any nonfiction.
Not much. I actually, I'm reading a book right now called I'm Wearing Tunics Now. And it's all about being in your 50s and accepting that and basically just not giving a hoot or F about what people think of you, and that it's okay just to wear tunics now and comfortable shoes. And I can't remember the author, but she basically was like a New York Times essayist. And so it's a bunch of little essays about, so I'm Wearing Tunics Now is a good one. I listened to Atomic Habits this year, which is great. Self-help book, I guess. And I read a lot of craft books on writing.
Yeah. So Jenny, if you were going to write a book that's not one of your normals, do you know what I mean? Like, is there a category that you would, you have a little idea percolating in the back of your head that you just haven't written yet? Or
oh yeah, I have a thriller in the back of my head that will eventually come out, and I have a women's fiction that will eventually come out, and I might do a paranormal. I love those little mysteries with witches or witchcraft. Or I guess I didn't say my most favorite series is Harry Potter. I mean, I just love the Harry Potter books, and so a witchcraft school or something like that is always just a thought.
Yeah, that's
would you write for adult or YA or middle grade?
I would, yes. I try to get my son to write a middle grade story with me because he's really talented, but so far he's not interested in writing a book with his mom. We'll see though. I'm not giving up on it, the idea.
You never know. There's a bunch of authors right now writing with their kids.
I know, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, when Diana asked about how I keep them all straight, I was going to liken it to we watch a million shows on television.
Yeah.
And you can watch a series on Netflix, and you can be watching a series on Prime, and you can be watching a series on, whatever, Hulu. And you just know those characters as soon as you come back to it, well, if you're watching it, we watch plenty of series where the new season comes out and we're like, I don't remember anything about the last one. We have to rewatch it.
Watch the recap or
yeah, we'll watch the last episode before we start the new series because we can't remember anything that happened.
Yeah.
But my point being, like, you watch all these different shows and you can keep all of those straight in your head. So like in my head, these are all like, or, you know, you have friends and you have family and you have coworkers and you keep all those people kind of straight in your life because to you, they're real. And that's kind of how the people in my books are kind of real, at the risk of sounding like a cuckoo.
No, it doesn't sound cuckoo at all. I actually completely get that.
I noticed somebody today was asking me like, what's the hair color and eye color of like two sets of my characters? I'm like, I don't know. I need to go look. I don't know.
Okay, now when it comes to that, I do have like a series Bible for each of my series to be able to keep track of like hair color. I do write it. I have these little folders that I keep of each book that I write down like those details and the names of the animals, because I have so many different animals. So I'll write all the names of the animals, all the names of the people in the town, the restaurants, all of that on this little folder to keep track of where I am on each one.
Do you have a hard copy of like an actual written copy? Okay.
No, I just have each folder, but I just pull each folder out when I'm working on the next one.
Got it. So for the book that we just read, what was your favorite scene in this book?
Oh gosh. The
dryer scene.
Dryer scene was good.
The animals in the bed scene.
The dryer scene. Gosh, I'm trying to think what was my favorite. I think the goat yoga. I had a lot of fun with the goat yoga. That was really fun. But I just had a lot of fun creating the banter between Carly and Knox. Maybe the scene where she finds out that he told everybody that they're getting engaged. And I love when he kind of keeps bringing her behind the curtain at the beauty salon. And he's like, hey, I noticed you have a dryer here too. And if you've got, 4 minutes, and she's like, 4 minutes. And he's like, well, you know what I could do with 4 minutes. Imagine what I could do with an hour. I just had a lot of fun with their banter, going back and forth with them. I love that he eats Twinkies and that people pay him for fixing stuff in Twinkies.
Yeah, I love when they find a whole cabinet of Twinkies. That was hysterical.
Finds a secret cabinet of Twinkies.
Oh, and guys, the book, Rodney. Just Rodney.
I know. I hope the readers out there that are seeing this, that this is making them just die to read this book, because I had so much fun with it.
What was your inspiration for Rodney?
So I had a lot, I have a lot of the same animals that are showing up. Otis, the cranky goat, shows up in every book. Seamus, the mini horse, the little old man mini horse, he shows up in all the books. Tiny the pig, the big giant hog who doesn't like to be called a hog, Tiny shows up. These three are like the trio that show up in every book. So I had to have some different kind of animals that show up in the books. And so I just tried to think of what would be an unusual pet for someone to have. So, and we had one of that kind of pets at our house. We actually had a goat. So Otis the goat, we had a goat named Smokey. And some of the things that Otis the goat does are real things that happened when we were kids that our goat did.
Yeah, I hear goats are crazy.
Goats are crazy, but also pygmy goats are very cuddly. Like, they are known for being
like a lap goat.
Yeah, like a very cuddly goat. And speaking of goats, in the next book, in the Christmas book, there's a fainting goat. And wait until you meet Esme, the fainting goat. She is like the cutest, like most precious. The fainting goat in the next book is so funny.
That is so perfect.
Jenny, someone asked. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was going to say the same thing.
You need to read the books in order.
So every story is a standalone. You can start them in order, just if you want to meet everyone along the way. But every book is a standalone. Oh my gosh, Natalie was actually bottle feeding one at the time she was reading the book.
Oh my gosh.
That's great.
So yeah, they're all standalones, but you can read them in order if some people really like
Natalie, we need a picture of that. That is
I would
so
love to
awesome.
that.
Yeah. That is really
And it
cool.
looks like Lori is also a Janet Ivanovich fan. I have read all of them. They're a one click for me too. Someday
Yeah,
I'd like
she's
to write
great.
a book with her. So if anyone knows her and could introduce me, then
We need to have her in the club for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun?
that would be fun.
and readers, if you guys have any suggestions of who you'd like for us to get, we're always open to that too. You can always message us if you have a suggestion of who you would love to have us get as a guest in the
We
that
can't
would be great.
guarantee they'll actually come, but we will ask.
yeah, we can.
Well, we're always brainstorming of who you all would like to see, or like to meet. So yeah, just drop it in the chat.
Yep.
So Jenny, are you going to be sorry to say goodbye to Credence?
Yeah, I am. I already am sorry. I mean, I'm done. So
That's right. The book's done.
yeah, I am sorry, but there's always a new and exciting story. I'm super excited about some of the new stuff that I'm doing. So, just move forward.
Yeah, and you have a ton of ideas. I mean, you have ideas that are just percolating back there. I'm just so impressed with that. That's amazing.
Yeah, the ideas are the easy part. Actually writing the book is apparently the hard part. So I've been told.
Well, you're doing pretty good so far.
Yeah. We all want to be you when we grow up. We really do.
Oh, don't inspire me. I'm like the worst at deadlines. So
I think every author is. I think you're an author if you can't make a deadline.
Right.
So anyway.
Well, this was so much fun to chat with you about this book. And what'd you say the next one was? July
18th, Take the Honey and Run comes out.
Take the Honey and Run.
The first mystery in the new Cozy Mystery series. And thanks so much for reading my book, you guys. It means a lot.
And the Cowboy Christmas comes out in October, right?
So Love at First Cowboy comes out in September, and then A Cowboy Country Christmas comes out in October.
Okay.
So
perfect.
If you need some Jennie Marts books coming up, they are coming this year. I've got 3 more coming out this year.
That's great.
Wow, that's fantastic. It's so much fun. Well, we had a ball with you, Jenny, as always. It's so much fun when it's just us chit-chatting.
It is.
And someone should announce our next book.
Yeah, so I don't have it for me. Oh my gosh.
I have it.
Okay, good.
Oh, well, Diana, would you like to announce who we're reading next month?
It's a little awkward.
Yeah, we have to plan this part.
Yeah,
I will announce what we're reading next month. How about that?
Pull it up.
Abbie, would you like
Okay. Next month, we are reading the fabulous author named Diana Muñoz Stewart and Hidden Justice.
Hidden Justice. So that'll be fun.
You guys will love this. Yes.
Looking forward to sharing that.
An earlier version of this, and I can't wait to read this one.
Yeah.
So. I can't either. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have fun with that.
We are.
Yeah.
All right. Looking forward to it, guys. So we'll see you at the end of June.
Yeah. And don't forget our summer book club. Like I said, all you have to do is find our reading list. It's all of our books. Read a book. Fill out the form with your link to your review, and you're entered.
And you can sign up
win some cool prizes. And
Yep.
Okay.
Let us know if you have any questions.
All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your week. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Night.